One thing I loved about the book, I've not heard this term before, so I'm going to say you guys coined it, superficial sophistication. The reason I love this is because if you just go by my description there of this prediction engine, if it's trained on a lot of smart data, a corpus of information, you can see how the output may sound really smart, but if you haven't been thinking critically about what that output should be before you type in the prompt, then you can be seduced that that is correct because it has the right number of buzzwords, it is structured well, that must be right. And this is the problem, the pitfall, I should say, that we often fall into and we get lazy. If they don't have that domain expertise to be able to think critically beforehand and then afterwards on the QC, then you're going to wind up with some problems in front of clients because we're talking about professional services here. And then you erode the trust and those insights that are so central to the client relationship.
I love this point about when it erodes the trust, because I think there's a whole discussion about this superficial sophistication and when we can afford it versus when it's really dangerous to get by sounding smart.
One thing I've learned, making so many mistakes over the course of 17 plus years in consulting is it's really powerful to say, I don't know, and not act like you know the answer. Because even before
you don't know and you admit it, you actually say that?
I do, but I don't just say that. I don't know, but let me get back to you. I want to do some research. Here's what I need to do in order to answer your question.
My big concern with how these models are deployed is that there's definitely a movement in this country to downplay or denigrate or sideline expertise and say we don't need the expert. And that's where I'm quite concerned about how these models are deployed. I don't want to put a lid on technology, but there's a role for experts.